Hey guys, Tom here, Permaculture Wilmington, North Carolina permaculture.com, if you want to see the Facebook group. But what I'm doing today is I've got some solution that I'm going to be putting into my hydroponic system. It's basically like a monthly feeding, but I do it a little different. This is more of a biological thing where I'm putting organisms in instead of nutrients. And so what I'm looking for here, I've got a really good compost. It's a 0.8 fungal to bacteria biomass compost. So it's got a good amount of organisms, a certain population of bacteria, a certain population of fungi, but it's also got a whole lot of protozoa in there. And I'm going to show you guys what this looks like, because there's a lot of people right now that are looking at teas and groups on Facebook, and they're looking at this really diseased, nasty, it's awful. It's things that we should not have in an aerobic environment, and they do not promote aerobic life, and that's us. So we don't want to be in contact with organisms that do not promote us being alive. To me, that just makes sense. So and we definitely don't want them around our plants either. So the last thing we want to do is take something that's diseased and has organisms that promote disease and put that into things we care about, like our plants and the solution that we're using to feed them or put on them to protect them. These are not the right organisms. But what I'm going to show you guys today, these are the right organisms, and these are good ones. So let's check this out real quick before this thing dries up, because it's been here a little while. I've been looking at it and I was excited. So see if I can move this around here. I know there's an amoeba right here below. So we got a big testate amoeba right there. Let's see, I'll use the mouse here so you guys can see. But these are trichomes right here. There's a whole lot of little bacteria down here. There's some cocci. There's a few bacillus maybe, these like rod shapes. That thing moving around here I can focus on, that's a flagellate. See that little guy right here? He's moving around in circles, or gyrating, but he's got a little flagella in front of him. So this is a mix of pond water and compost extract is what we're looking at here. But let's move around a little bit so we can see, because there's a lot going on in this. Some fungi right here, and these are septa segments. So this is a septa fungi, or a segmented fungi. So that's that's what we look for in good fungi, is that they have septa and good strong septa as well. This one's been pinched, it looks like maybe pinched with a rock. But look at all the protozoa in here, like these testate amoeba. The fungi is this is a gray, looks like a gray fungi. And it's got a brittle break, and it's got some septa segments in here, it looks like. Or is that bacteria? Those are actually bacteria on the other side. So that's 1 micrometer, because that bacteria back there is about I'd say 1.5. This is a smaller bacteria, and that's a little bigger. So I'd say that's about 1.5 micrometers wide there. Just to give you guys an idea, we'll move around here, but this is really good stuff we're looking at. Very active, lots of bacteria in the bottom, some bacillus in there as well. See, it's got some fungal spores. Looks like an ascomycota maybe. Let's see here, what else? So we got some humics. That's what these globs are, some more testates. Beautiful amoebas. These are algae, these little horn-looking things over here. They're green, indicative of chlorophyll. So some of the trichomes are really cool. More flagellates right here. Those are good guys. These are what we want to look for. And my understanding is the orb ones are better. The ones that are shaped like little orbs, like this guy. It's an orb. Real small, and they got a real small flagella that hangs out in front. I think they actually have 2 of them. One's in front, one's in back. Another spore here. Again, focus on the back. Lots of bacteria. Looks like maybe a little testate there. Just real happy about this. I just put a whole bunch of it in my hydroponics. In the top, I've got 2 different levels, and I put some in top and bottom. That looks like a little either flagellate cyst or a cercozoa. I want to say a flagellate. It's hard to tell. There's a bacillus coming through right next to it. It's actually, I think, maybe a lactobacillus. Yeah, it's a long. So that solution I put in there from the pond may have had a little bit of facultative organisms in it. But there's so many organisms in here, just to see a few lactobacillus is not that big of a deal. We've got a lot of different types of bacteria, so that's good. And again, here's one of those little half moon things, that's algae. Some spores. A lot going on in this, guys. A lot going on. These are all good organisms, though. They're beneficial. And that's what we want to see, is the beneficial organisms, not a lot of ciliates. Some more algae down here. And again, the bacteria will eat that, and that will turn into, I mean, it's photosynthesizing now, so it's adding oxygen to the water, and that's really good. That's our microflora. But if the oxygen drops, the bacteria eat it, and then that silica shell that's around it basically turns into to nutrients. They eat it. So all these organisms are food, is my point. Whether or not I get the associations right is debatable, but I'm curious what this is right here. That's interesting. There's a fungal spore here. Looks like another flagellate up here. And those are good guys. You want to notice the flagellates. There's a lot of different morphologies to flagellates, but the little orbs are the good ones. They're the ones I see the most on oak leaves. And oak leaves are really good. They're highly nutritious. It's a mother tree. These are good organisms for our environment, and for our soils, and for our garden, and for our health. They keep us alive. Let's look around just a little bit more. Is that Ursula? Ursula. No, not Ursula. Possibly a testate, maybe an amoeba cyst. It's like maybe an egg that hatched or something. It's got a lot of folds in it. It might be an amoeba, I'm not sure. Little spot right there. But there's a lot of crossovers with some of the morphologies, a lot of the morphologies actually. Very similar, like for instance, the ciliate cyst and the protozoa cysts, they are the flagellate cyst and the ciliate cyst, they have a crossover and they look almost identical. So if it's right in the middle, like you really can't tell which is the right one, but it's good to have a good sense of awareness of that, because sometimes you can tell and they're huge, and sometimes you can see them inside, and that's really cool. I got some videos of that on my YouTube channel actually. Somewhere, I don't know, there's tons of stuff up there. I'm actually starting to lose track of everything. See if I can keep track of where I'm going here. Let's go look up here a little bit. It's a lot easier when you move around these things to look at the slide. They teach that in the Soil Food Web School. You look at the slide so that way you can tell your different rows that you're on. I'm just kind of moving around casually because, I mean, to me, I'm having fun. This is interesting. And this is something I'm excited about because my plants are growing really well right now. It's because I finally got a handle on the biology. And the biology that's the trick, guys. It's not all about the chemistry. That's only one of the ways that plants consume nutrients. The available nutrient pool. We've got an exchangeable nutrient pool, which is the organisms themselves. And then the total nutrient pool, which is the parent material, plus the organisms, plus what they produce for the plants, plus the chemistry that's in the solution. So, wow, just a lot of action going on here. I don't see a lot of fungi though, as the thing. Oh, spoke too soon. That might be fungi. That might actually be a root hair. But because of that bulbous end right here, I question. Oh, looks like we got something inside that. The humics, or is it organic matter of some sort? Wait just a second, he might come out. No. So let's go down just a little bit here. Well, I don't need a lot of fungi for an aquatic system anyway, so I'm not really worried about the fungi that I'm not seeing. I am seeing some. That's a good guy. It's got septa. It's got a brittle break. It looks relatively strong. Is it maybe 6, 4? That's, yeah, it's above 4, at least 4. 2, 3, 4 micrometers or so. Oops, some more flagellates down there. You saw one pop around here. Got some more spores. Another testate amoeba. More spores up here. That's a football. Any of the football ones are the good guys. Those are the arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, is what I've been told. Some trichomes, little fungi. It's a clear fungi, so that's not as evolved, is my understanding, or it could be a humic fungi that's dead. That's probably not dead though. It's just probably a weak fungi. A lot of big amoeba, man. There's a lot of amoeba in here. And I know there's some cercozoas, we're just not seeing them. It's just a lot of debris. This is not diluted. So this dilution is 1 to 1. It's not diluted at all. All right, guys, well, just showing you what's going on here. Let me look through the top and see what we've got. See if we can find something interesting. I'd really like to see some, at least a nematode or two. I know you guys can't see. Let me switch that little button on there. Ah, nematode. There we go. That's cool. Let's see if I can get you a little closer. He's a lively little guy. He's moving a little too fast to see what kind he is. I think he's a bacteria feeder though. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'd go bacteria feeder, but there's some good fungi right there. You guys can see those fungi. Those are good, strong septa in there. There's dark black little lines, bands that going around. That's a good sign when we see those dark bands like that on a good fungi, good color, like a 70% chocolate color. That's more of a gray, so it could stand to be a little more colorful. And then more flagellates down here. Around on the bottom, little guys. Right here in the middle. It's a little bright for you though. So much easier just looking through the microscope. I wish I had the camera that the microcosmos guys do. I can get real close to these things and see all kinds of beautiful colors with fluorescent cameras, microscopes. But yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm going to cut it off so the video is not too long. But I really appreciate everybody that's looking, and if you're a member of the North Carolina Permaculture Group on Facebook, thank you so much for participation and just helping everybody understand and trying to understand this stuff a little more, because it doesn't come easy to me either. You know, this is a lot to know. It's a lot to remember. It's a lot to grasp, all the systems that overlap. But if we just focus on it, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on things that matter in terms of learning what's going on around me. And right now I've kind of latched on to just this concept of understanding life, you know, and that's what all this stuff is, these microbes and understanding soil layers and the compaction that's happening around us and all these things we're doing to ourselves that people are just like, how do I fix this? And I'm just like, well, why'd you do it in the first place? You know, we know better. This is in our history. I've never actually read a complete, like a book, you know, I don't read. A manual, man, I can flip from one page to another, no problems, understand it, remember everything, but give me something where I have to actually like envision this other world to follow, and I just can't do it, man. But I learned how to take my car apart and put it back together, engine and all, like just by looking at a manual. So it's just different types of learning, I guess. But I don't really read, and to be able to accumulate all this knowledge, man, from just like online and what's available right now online from, I mean, I had to pay for a lot of what I know, so don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of stuff. I've tried to put everything in NorthCarolinaPermaculture.com in our group guide, but I had to get it from other sources, you know, because I can't just take school material. But that guide that I put together, man, I'm really trying to get it to help people. And I think it's working because there's a lot of positivity coming, and that's what happens. I've learned that if you take those permaculture principles and you apply them to the things that you think of, you incorporate everybody, and that's all anybody wants. They just want other people to incorporate them into their choices. That's what I want. You know, I want somebody to look at me as like, okay, I have value, and I don't see a problem with that. We just all have to do it is the problem, and it's kind of been conditioned into us to be a lot more efficient. And thinking about each other takes time. It really does, man. I had to learn that. So we got to think to just stop and take a minute. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's taken a minute to look at this information and the things that I'm talking about and doing, because I think it's going to make a difference. I really do. It's made a difference in my life and just my property and my health. I'm skinny. I never thought I'd be skinny. I get to say I'm skinny. How cool is that? I have never been skinny. I've always been the fluffy, big bone boy in the back of the playground. You know, it's like I've never been that guy. So I'm pretty excited to just feel and look healthy. So if you guys want to get there, man, it's really just a matter of doing good with nature. I think that's all I did. So I hope you're having a great day. This is Tom with Permaculture Wilmington. Later.